Alright, part 12 of our playthrough. And as mentioned in the last segment, we need to buy a car. Again. And this time I don't know what to buy because this is probably going to be a waste of money unless I dump a lot of money into something. Something I was thinking of was the Toyota MR2. The MRS is cheaper, and in terms of money, we might need to do that. But I wasn't sure what's a good MR car to get that's cheap. That could also win. So like just comparing the MRS edition. This is 138 horsepower, which is kind of low. The MR2G Limited has 197, which is much better. And the GTS is 241. The GTS is probably not the best to use, but every other MR car is kind of expensive. So, yeah. I think Toyota MR2 G Limited is the way to go, and Super Red 2. We saved the game, so if this is a bad decision, then we can revert. So let's go right into the MR Challenge, Beginner League, our last race of no license. And then we can do a little bit of arcade, and we can grind the license finally. So, 3 races is all that separates us. The Lotus Elise is an option, but I'll check the price on that. I think it's a bit pricey though. But yeah, look at all these MR2s. There are 4 MR2s in this race. Faker make 70 alternative accounts. It's literally like that Snapcube parody. Alright, well this car should have no power, no problem getting to the front, especially if there's 3 more MR2G Limiteds. Does the MR2 snap oversteer in this game? About to find out. Apparently, it's pretty fast. Like, really fast. This is stock. I think the MRS could have won this. So this might be a wash again, this series. He has unlimited accounts. I mean, technically you could just create Google accounts over and over again, just use the same profile picture and name. Again, for the 3rd time today, Fear and Films was hidden by Fear and Films. Opel Speedster finally decides to show up. I will say this car handles quite nicely compared to driving the Camaro. Big drift, but we hold it. Chat Drama is back. He's on like speed run on creating accounts. Here's the yeet chicane. Let's just yeet it for fun. Actually, I couldn't that time. Actually, upshifted a bit too early there. The MR2 is pretty much dominating. I'm just making mistakes as a driver. We are flying, that's for sure. These MR cars are quick. It's impossible to be a car guy in India. That's a shame. I mean, at least we have the internet for car culture. And isn't F1 getting a lot bigger in India now? So they have something to watch. Although F1's kind of exploding all over the world. The token, the blue chip, the infamous blue chip that's caused so much pain and suffering in one game. That's simple, man. Big corner cut. It's not really that big of a deal though, because this car would have won anyway. Big 2-second win over the Speedster, the Opel Speedster. And yeah, MRS not do too well, so that's why we skipped it. We get a small 2,000 credits, but we kind of blew money on this car, so let's get that thumbnail shot since it's not a bad shot. All the MR2s. I'm gonna quickly peek at the price of the Lotus Elise to see if we would have saved anything or if that was just gonna be a bad investment from the get-go. But we'll just check. 58,000 for the Elise 190, which has 190 horsepower. And the Griffith is 62,000. Yeah, these European cars are a bit pricey. Not even gonna look at Astons. The real poverty moments are gonna be when you need to buy a Mercedes and an Audi TT and an Altezza, all in like large sweeps, and a Beetle, and tune that thing. Yeah. So the MR2 was probably the right move for this. Okay. Looks like Deep Forest. I didn't even look at the track, but I can tell it's Deep Forest 2. And it is Deep Forest 2. Yeah, all the European sports cars are expensive, unsurprisingly. I didn't even look at the opponents either, but we got an MRS, more MR2s, and looks like another Speedster. So that seems to be the pattern. But we didn't even tune this car, not even an oil change, and we can be into lead into turn 1. The Mazda Furai, yeah, it is no longer with us. That happened years ago, but it's still a bummer. Or the Jaguar XJ13, which never got to race. The one car they made crashed in the 60s. Well, I think they rebuilt it, but they could never enter it in anything. Battlefield got announced yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago, I forget. I saw they had a 2-day countdown that was to reveal a 1-hour countdown to reveal the trailer, and I thought that was incredibly stupid. That's the only thing I remember. I didn't actually watch the trailer, but I don't know. I haven't really played many FPS games besides Team Fortress 2, if you count that. And that's an old game. I haven't played a modern FPS in a long, long time. I think the last time I bought an FPS was Black Ops 4 a few years ago, and I didn't really care for that one. Every stream you eat ice cream. Man, you'd like my friend who just eats so much ice cream. But I also love ice cream, so I appreciate it. Who's dispenser here? Heavy go Putus. I'm actually a heavy main in TF2. I played TF2 briefly when I was like 14 with some of my middle and high school friends, but I never really got good at it. And then my college roommate, just for nostalgia, decided to fire it up, and I fired it up with him. And you know, now that I was older at that point, I understood how to properly like play team games and strategize and stuff like that, and you know, do a little pub stomping on Valve servers that were, you know, riddled with bots long after the game has passed its peak. The game is still fun if you find the right servers. Whoa, that's a big ram. I didn't even pay attention to what was happening there, but the MR2 just swamped in. I guess I was going slow around the corner. Okay, so it wasn't too low of a gear. It was just the rubber banding decided to kick in. Wow. I noticed everybody. I see you. Subin. Alright, well hopefully we won't get rammed across the finish line. That's so awkward though. Alright, race 2. Easy peasy. Besides that little ram moment. MR2's, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish. I think Scuderia Ferrari did that in F1 in like the 60s once. A 1, 2, 3, 4 finish. That's cool though. Alright. Ooh, nice little thumbnail shot. I like that. With nuts. Chocolate with nuts. That's a legendary SpongeBob episode. Anyway, Apricot Hill. Our last race of the series. And our last race of the no license events. Then we could do a little bit of arcade and then we can grind for a B license. Which, who knows how long that'll take. But that's the objective today, is to get our B license. There are 2 Opel Speedsters. I wonder how this will go. The 2020 Merc. Too fast. We're gonna redline this thing and just go fast. This thing off the line is a rocket. But these are all the same MR2 and this is stock, so this is the rubber banding, not raw power. It's hard to pick an MR car that is competitive, but Beginner League is full of rubber banding, so it's hard to gauge these things. We have to try and stay out of poverty, because I want to avoid money grinding in this game as much as I can. And money grinding is annoying in this game, because it involves memory card manipulation, repeating championships, and selling a specific car. Say Ferrari sucks. I mean, they sucked last year. This year they're doing better. They're not up to their 2017-2018 speed, but they certainly have a chance to get third in this year. And they have 2 pole positions, so they're certainly not terrible anymore. It's so surprising to see how fast they turn around. I expect them to kind of like be back to their race winning form next year. Especially since we have the regulations shake up. So, we have expectations. I'm messing with my controller because everything else kind of uneventful. This series. The Beginner League series are a little weird. I know in Professional League there'll be a lot of hot lapping basically because the races are long and there's no rubber banding, so you just have to be the fastest car out there or win on strategy. But yes, strategies in this game. We shifted down way too early. The gears are so... I don't know. I'm not used to the gearing in this car. Hyundai Dev. Man, that's still relevant? I thought that joke was back in 2020, 2019. 330p4, beautiful car. Gran Turismo 5 made us all love it. Got 2 seconds to the gray or silver Opel Speedster. Extreme E. McLaren is joining Extreme E, right? Brown GT4 had a scandal with the Yandere Dev emo. I didn't hear about this, and I subscribed to him and I watched his Twitch streams, but what happened with that? I know he had beef with BK4, but I didn't hear about the Yandere Dev stuff. Just one of the emotes. What would I say if someone said Ferrari sucks? Depends what year it was. If it was late 2019 and 2020, I'd say right on. I'm not a stan. I'm a passionate fanboy, but I'm not a stan. I will stan Seb. That's separate, but that's not Ferrari anymore. Anyway, another race, another series completed. This was a wash, but unless I'm trying to squeak it out with an MRS, then not necessarily worth my time. Anyway, get our thumbnail shot. That's a nice view. That's nice. Alright. Price car time. Probably going to be an MR car, right? What's it going to be? It's convertible. It's an MRS. So, it's a blue MRS, which I like the color. I like the car too, but I like the MR2 better. But, that's why I didn't buy an MRS. Just so you guys know. Thunder, THR, and all these people. Desiree is here. Welcome. Here's our MRS that we just won in Blue Mica. 138 horsepower, a little slow. Here's the red MR2 we used to win the series pretty easily. Anyway, that is 8.2% completion. And that'll be the end of the segment. Next time we'll be clearing an area in arcade mode, and then we'll get a license. So there you go.